The problem is at this point in the game, Everton created the same amount of chances within 5 minutes of football to our 40 pointless possession is not dominating. Sooner Arteta realizes, the better. What's your thoughts on that, boys?
So, okay, so he's got a problem with us dominating the ball, but our domination is the one that's creating the chances. Now, if the players aren't taking those chances, because we did cut open at Everton in quite a few occasions, the problem was we were making poor decisions once we got into the box. Like Fabio Vieira, the cross that he made wasn't the right cross to make in that situation. There was a few times where he shot the ball rather than making a pass. So once those decision-making becomes a bit better. And also, you've got to understand, we've had different 11s for pretty much all these games. We've had Partey at right back as an experiment. We've now reverted back to our original 11 that kept winning us the game. We've got Rice and Fabio Vieira or Havertz playing in midfield, which is going to take a little bit of time, but we're still winning and we're still scoring goals. So for me, I don't think it's a case of he's going to realise it. It's just going to click at one point. And it's not a case of him actually tweaking anything. It's just once the chemistry's there, once Saka kind of starts getting his rhythm, once Martinelli gets into his rhythm, and we get Jesus back primarily, that's when we'll be back. I'm not worried. I don't know what the hyper, analysing of us dominating games is becoming. It's weird.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Tommy joins us. How you doing, mate?
Hey, I'm doing good, mate. How are you guys? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. What are you here to say, bro?
No, I'm a West Ham fan, innit? So I thought I'd come on, see how my boy Rice is doing, see if that Arsenal fans actually rate him there, which they do. What a surprise! But no, I was going to say that. No, I was going to say that's probably the most dominating game of the season so far. I thought, even though I think Everton are awful, like I've tipped Everton to go down. I think they're the Sunderland of the last couple of years. Like, I think they're going to go down this season. They're absolutely dreadful. Like, I'm not just going to go. I know obviously Arsenal played their part to obviously be as bad as they were. But I wouldn't take this game to obviously take and look too much onto it. Like, I thought Arsenal were well, but I just thought Everton were awful. I don't even remember them having a shot. I don't remember having a great opportunity. I just remember them just pumping it up long, giving it away, and then you guys would just recycle it just every time. But like, I've been a very dictator on Arteta about like he has to win something this season. And like so far, I've got to be honest. The way it's looked, people going, "Oh, he's keep changing positions, but keep changing his players. Keep like with the 11, he keeps changing." But that's how you. If you look at Pep, that's how he's been winning like the league's last couple of seasons. He's rotated at the right times, and I think that's probably why you've been winning the games if you have by rotating and like putting on different 11s, which I think which you have to be doing, especially you've got Europe as well and Champions League, and it's just if you start winning things, you're going to be really dangerous, but we'll just see what happens.
Listen, I'll let Nathan. What do you make of that? Again, I'm not going to respond for you. You're a gooner. What do you make there? What Tommy there, the West Ham fan, said.
In terms of regards to what you said about Everton, I do feel they're a very poor team, and we did what we had to do in terms of to limit them to as little as we can. In terms of, I felt. Like I mentioned earlier, I felt the performance was very dominant. We're not exciting. We're not as dynamic as last season. I think that's very clear to everybody can see. But I think we've kind of left that aside to kind of focus more on control and to work on.
You don't. Yeah, but sorry, mate. You don't always. No, I was just going to say you don't always have to be exciting to watch.
No, of course not.
I think with Arsenal fans, I've always said this about Arsenal fans. I think. With Arsenal fans, I think what it is with them, I think they're more eye test, more the like modern fans. Like they'd rather lose the league, 99 points to Man City at 100 than win the league on the lowest ever points. That's what I feel like your fans are more like. That's just my opinion.
You know what?
Like
I think a lot of that's to do with the Wenger football. So like a lot of people grew up on Wenger football and how pretty it was, and that's what we had for a long time to hold on to was the style of play and how exciting it was. I mean, for me, I'm just highlighting that obviously that it's not as exciting. However, I don't think fans should be, getting their knickers in a twist about it because it's not really the biggest thing. As long as you're collecting 3 points, that's all that matters, right? So at the end of the day, is you'll have games where you can blow teams away and play really exciting stuff, really, really pretty on the eye football. But you can't do that. And we've seen that with City. It doesn't happen over the course of a whole season. So you've got to win ugly. You've got to go to certain games and just put in a professional performance. And that's where it is today. And that's what it's been this season, which, okay, it might not be the most prettiest for me, but I'm happy with it because I know there'll be moments in the season where good football will come. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense there. This here from Skills says Spurs fan is comparing Arsenal's football to Conte's. Aaron here says, imagine being a Spurs fan thinking you were going to do something. Bro, please focus on the other areas of life. This isn't for you. Lol. This is Gunner here. I think it means Gunner here. Arsenal are not Man City. We are learning to be dominant teams for 100 minutes, 38 games a year. People are quick to forget how bad Man City were in Europe for a long time. Even Man City had a process. Yes, they did. They just didn't call it that, but they definitely had one. This is kind of like last season. The game against Spurs will be a benchmark of what this upgraded Arsenal will look like. And is no joke, is what Zezou says here. I actually agree. I think, look, listen, lots of teams beat Spurs last year. Lots of poor teams beat Spurs next year. They look different right now. It's going to be a much tougher game. But then beating them, what will happen is Arsenal will beat them and people go, but it's only Spurs. It always beat them. I don't want to see the goalpost being moved if that happened from a consistency point of view.
It is only Spurs.
It is only Spurs. Rice runs away from the press. The reason Arsenal are not fluid. Arsenal, he runs away from the press. I mean, I don't necessarily think you want your DM in an attacking press, leaving a big hole in the midfield personally, but that's just me. Brandon, what did you make of today, bro? What did you make of the performance from your team today?
Yeah, I thought the first 25 minutes was very good. I thought we controlled the ball very well. I thought we moved the ball very well. And then kind of after that, we allowed Everton back into the game by, having sloppy passes and giving away possession when we didn't really need to. But on the whole, I have to give the manager credit. Yeah, all the people in the comments now are going to be like, what's going on? Oh my God.
What? Oh my God, Brandon.
I've got to give the manager credit because, I said midweek on the Top 6 show that I wanted to see David Raya start.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain.
Sam, positive. I don't know what to say. Wow. Sorry, go on, continue.
Yeah, no, I said on the Top 6 show during the week, I wanted to see David Raya start, and I thought Ramsdale deserved to be dropped. I don't think his performances has been that great this season so far. Whether it's a drop or not, obviously we'll see on Wednesday whether Ramsdale starts the game. But I think you see the difference with Raya as well. I don't think he had too much to do in terms of like shot stopping or anything like that, but his distribution stood out massively for me today.
So composed. So composed.
Yeah, his short passing, his long passing, I thought was very good. 9 times out of 10, he found his man in doing so. Very composed on the ball. Fabio Vieira, another player who I said, should come in today based off of merit, based off his performances that he's shown off the bench. I thought he deserved to start ahead of Kai Havertz. Wasn't sure if the manager would do it because of the physical side of things, but he did that as well. And like I say, first 25 minutes, I thought we moved the ball very well. I thought, the only thing that was really missing was clear-cut chances. And I think this is the one thing that Arsenal do have to learn from, because when you look at today as a whole, we didn't really create too many clear-cut chances. There wasn't really any chances that screamed out to me as, golden opportunities for Arsenal. And, Trossard came on because of Gabriel Martinelli getting injured in the build-up to that first goal. And, he wins us the game. And, I kind of take a little bit of a element out of this of, okay, we're not playing to our absolute best, but at the moment, while we're picking up the 3 points, who cares? As long as we're winning these games. But there are improvements that need to be made. But aside from that, the manager takes big credit from this today, because I thought he got his team lineup spot on. His substitutions were spot on. I thought maybe he could have brought on Gabriel Jesus a bit sooner than what he did, because Eddie Nketiah didn't really offer us anything in that first half. But he made the substitutions. I thought it was right to bring on Tomiyasu and Kai Havertz instead of, maybe a Smith Rowe or something like that off of the bench to kind of keep it tight when it's 1-0. And yeah, Everton didn't offer anything, bro. That for me, they're a relegation candidate team. And it's just good to get that duck off your back that, we couldn't win at Goodison Park. So, winning 1-0, that's fine with me. But there are, still improvements that need to happen. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think most Gooners would agree with you. I think there's definitely still things for Arsenal to improve on. But I think when you look at your team, I think there's a fervent belief from your fans and generally the fans that you're going to do that. Now, the big test is going to come with playing Champions League football. But what's really interesting is I was listening to something. I know this is Man City, and people hate the people really do hate the City Arsenal comparison, especially people that don't like Arteta. But listening to a lot of their players talk, and by the way, I realized I hadn't updated it the whole show. I've got the score from the Chelsea game on the screen and not the Arsenal game, so I've just updated that now. But there's almost like this element of like, I think it was Bernardo Silva that said, playing 2 games a week, we feel that makes us sharper. There's less time to stress about the games that are coming up. It's more, you're just working towards games. There's less boredom. So as much as a lot of people go, once we're in the Champions League, that's it. It's going to ruin Arsenal. When you listen to the top pros at the top teams talk, they see it, they're not talking about Arsenal specifically, but they see it the complete and utter opposite way. So I'm very intrigued to see how Arsenal look, because the Europa League's hard to judge, because all our clubs do it generally, is we rotate so heavily for these Europa League games. You're not getting a true reflection of how this actual team copes with 2 games per week with smaller rotation. So yeah, look, it's certainly going to be an interesting next few weeks.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Tel, because we've got a squad.
Tel, how do you think we're going to do in the Champions League?
Firstly, let me see you kick a ball in the Champions League first, like before I start to judge it. But I feel like on a real level, I don't see why Arsenal can't be in the quarterfinals, and in the quarterfinals with a chance of progressing, and then just see who's left. Does that make sense? Like City are the favourites. But listen, City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid are always right now.
That's my aim, is to get to quarterfinals at least.
Yeah, I think you can get there, and then it's about who's in the quarterfinals.
That's my aim, Terry, to get to these quarterfinals at least.
I hear you, bro, and I was going to mute you because you've got a delay. And once you get to the quarterfinals, you don't know who you're going to get. You could have a run that opens up slightly for you. I mean, you could end up in a position where you have to play Bayern, followed by Real Madrid, followed by City in the final if you progress, and it makes it really hard.
I see him winning it.
You think Arsenal will win it, Tommy?
Not because obviously I want them to, not because I think they're amazing. It's just no my luck. I don't like Arsenal because Rice has just gone. no, my luck. They're going to win it. They're going to win it. You know what I mean? They're going to win it.
I like that.
Win it. We're not winning the Champions League. Nah.
Brandon,
if they win it, you're Arteta in, mate. You can never say Arteta out again if you win it. That's it.
Brandon, you were going to say something before I jumped in there. Sorry, mate. What are you going to say?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, we've got a squad. I think the biggest thing about it is the manager needs to know when to rotate and how many to rotate as well. And I think that's the good thing about today. If he had started Kai Havertz today, and let's just say we had a drew that game, everybody be coming on here talking about Kai Havertz, talking about how he should be rotating his squad better. And I said before that if he rotates and he makes the right decisions at the right times and it wins us the game, whether it's a good performance, bad performance or not, I will come on here and I will praise the manager. I'm not one of these who's just going to go, oh, everything's crap no matter what he does. At the end of the day, he's got a squad there. He needs to use it. He brought in Fabio Vieira at the right time for me, because he was showing levels and performances. He dropped Aaron Ramsdale at the right time for me as well. His substitutions were spot on. The only thing that I'd kind of say is, I think he just needs to get on the training ground with our attacking front three again and say, look, we need to start creating more because we are dominating games. And we are dominating games to a point where the opposition teams are not really causing us too many issues. Everton definitely didn't cause us a single issue today. But we just need to be more ruthless in the final third. I watched Arsenal today, was very frustrating, especially in the first half, because it kind of reminded me of the Arsene Wenger days where we're trying to walk the ball into the back of the net. Like, just have pot shots. You never know what might happen.
You didn't seem vulnerable on the break, though.
An example of that. Sorry?
You didn't seem, yeah, but I'd say, yeah, but you didn't seem very vulnerable because under Wenger days, if you get hit on the break, it would usually lead to a goal or a chance. But then when you lost the ball, I didn't feel like Everton didn't create nothing. That's why I said that they didn't have a chance. That's why I said it's different, because you did control that game. Usually when Arsenal fans say they control the game, it's because you had loads of possessions. But this game, you actually controlled it. Like, Everton didn't have anything. They didn't have a sniff.
Yeah, but what I mean by the whole Arsene Wenger thing is, like, us trying to walk the ball in the back of the net. We see it against Crystal Palace. If we're being real, right, we was very lucky against Crystal Palace, because had that penalty had not been given, we wouldn't have won that game. A bit like today, a bit lucky in a sense, but then again, you make your own luck, I suppose, as well.
But don't you think that whole walking the ball into the net is to do with kind of like what Man City do, and you saw it in the first game of the season when Pep berated Haaland, right? Because he doesn't want you to make risky passes unless he wants there to be a certain level of control to the game, right? And I know Arsenal fans get peed off with the whole Man City comparison, but whether we like it or not, right, that is the route in which we're kind of trying to go down to some extent, right? So Pep was berating Haaland because Haaland wanted Bernardo to play it down the line in a risky ball, which could lead to a turnover. So it's almost like they don't want to make risky passes unless it's clear opportunities. Otherwise, there's more risk of turnovers, meaning more risk of counters, meaning more risk of them going down the other end and scoring.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just think there was times today where Martinelli, Saka, Trossard could have took their man on rather than coming inside, playing that safe pass. So I do think there's certain, like you see it with Man City yesterday, Doku. How many times have we see that man?
Oh, mate, he was unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate.
And it's about making the right decisions at the right time. And I just feel like it's too safe with Bukayo Saka in particular at the moment, where he'd rather cut inside, play the little one ticky-tacky passes with Rice and
yeah, but you think that's down to that injury they were talking about? Because I feel like even the start of this season, yeah, because I watch him, even though they're doubling up. Like, I know when people say if he's world class, when you see him get doubled up and you see him get through, that's when you go, yeah, he's good. But recently, even at the back of last season, he got doubled up and he couldn't get through. But you don't know whether that's down to injury or whatever it is. That's why I always think he's on the not cusp of world class. That's why I don't think he's the best in that position, because that's when you get pressure, and like when you pressure a rock, it turns into a diamond. Is when you get put like 3-4 players on, and you see how they get through it. And I feel like he's more, I don't know whether he's scared, he don't want to get injured, or he doesn't know what to do. That's why he plays it back inside. Or maybe he's been asked by Arteta, don't lose the ball, just keep it ticking.
I just think he's suffering from a little bit of burnout, personally.
Yeah.
We see towards the back end of last season, he wasn't performing at the same sort of level that he was throughout the season.
Yeah, 200 games he's played for Arsenal.
It could certainly be that.